I believe my official title was Box Bitch.
You have arrived at your
My job was to collect cardboard boxes and throw them in an incinerator. Terrible for the environment, but that was my job. It was fun. I did it so much that I got like a weird half tan, because I would like pick up a box with my left hand and throw it in the fire with the right hand, like I'd do a little handoff. And so I was always standing at like a 90-degree angle to the incinerator, and I got cooked on one side, so I had this weird like vertical tan line, like that went down like the center of my face. Looked like Two-Face. It was ridiculous, but I liked that job. It was very satisfying. It was basically like hanging out at a campfire all day. Sometimes it got a little hot, but you know, good times. I miss when my job was mentally absent, like just a completely mindless labor. Because I am great at zoning out. Probably why I'm such a terrible driver. But like, I remember going to work and then just going home, like nothing had happened. You just go through the motions like you're doing like your morning routine. And you like come home and you almost feel energized, like a little physically exhausting depending on like how the day went and how intensive it was. Now I have a job that's physically nothing and mentally exhausting. And you know what? It's not better. Pays better. But the trouble is, like, when you stop working a physical job, like, it's just done. If you're working a mentally intensive job, when you go home, you're still thinking about it and you can't stop. Part of the reason why I like video games so much. It's the only way to tune out the voices, you know? Speaking of zoning out, when did I choose a 57 Cadillac? Chevy Bel Air. I know what I'm driving. I swear. I've called it a Cadillac so many times. Maybe I should buy a Cadillac just so I can remind myself of the differences. But I mean, I'm in first place, so the zone out is clearly working for me. You hear me, brother? To the manager at a recycling center, and it's mentally draining. My dad really, like, more than anything, he wanted to work at a recycling center. He had, I can't tell you exactly what his job was. He worked basically in a factory, driving forklifts, pushing buttons, like cleaning machinery, going deaf, breaking his back. And he worked like the worst hours. He would work like 12-hour shifts. And he would do that 8 days in a row and then get like 4 days off. But it was like four days, 4 nights, and then 4 days off. And he did that for like 40 years. Eventually he got
Hey
fired.
man, the
Like,
good news is I put your name forward for our
to be
next
fair,
showcase
like,
event.
he was always doing
The
shit
bad
that should have
news
got him fired.
Well, there isn't any bad news really. Meet you at
But the
starting
story
line.
of him getting fired was just pretty stupid. What am I doing here? Is that a street race? We do another dirt race? How much money? I've got $1 million. Should we buy a car? Get $1,000,001 and then buy a car. So like one day, one of the fancy executives of my dad's work was coming to like tour the facility. You know, pick up slack and all that. Wearing a short skirt and a long jacket. Anyway, this guy had a weird thing about people spelling his name wrong. And his name was like stupidly easy. It was like Alan Green. But apparently, like, people spelling his name wrong was a pet peeve of his. And like some very young new employees were put in charge of like setting up a banner welcoming him. My dad, being the clown he is, the new guys came up to him and they're like, we hear this, it really bothers this guy when his name's spelled wrong. Can you help us here? Like, how do you spell his name? And my dad butchered it, like 2 L's, 2 Y's, 2 N's. Like 7 E's in the last name, you know, just absolutely demolished the name. And so, you know, big executive comes, sees the sign that says, "Welcome, Alien Green," and he just loses his shit on my dad's boss. My dad, my dad's boss hunts down the guys responsible. They immediately point the finger at my dad. My dad got fired on the spot. And he was like, My dad never liked working there anyway. He tried to find like a job that he could feel proud doing. And so like the first thing he applied for was like a recycling center. He's like, at least I feel like I'm helping the environment a little bit. He didn't get the job, and that's kind of a bummer. He ended up with some pretty weird jobs. Like one job, he ended up installing hot tubs, which basically destroyed his back even further, and he had to like quit after a year of that. How old am I? Old. I'm not too old. I'm trying to keep it a secret. Make it kind of like a fun guessing game. But in general, I'm old enough to have been raised entirely by video games, which, you know, isn't too old. Like, my earliest memories as a child were playing Commodore 64. If that gives you a hint. You're 48 and don't think you're older than you'd be right. I need to stop reading and driving at the same time. But I've reached kind of a highway hypnosis now. I've been doing this for 7 hours. I've reached this zen point of driving here. Excuse me, Andy Rude. That isn't just the most fitting name. Good Lord, I'll never recover from this. You said your oldest kid is 8, so you think I'm 30? I am not 30. No, I got kind of a late start. Like, I graduated college before I found the girlfriend, before I had that, you know, I dated for several years and then broke up with before I met my wife. Like, I've had a time out here. Think more like 42, that's pretty close. Whew, what am I doing? 11th place. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the garage. We're gonna play dress up one last time. We're gonna change cars one last time. And we're gonna race that car until we get first place. And that'll be it for me. Still pups to you? Yeah. According to my YouTube analytics, there's like an 89-year-old woman who watches every single one of my videos.
At the roundabout, take the first exit.
Right now, she's demolishing everybody as far as I know. Tell your 19-year-old son to focus on your future because time goes by so fast. Yeah. Don't have too much fun. That sounds awful. I'm more of the go have fun as much as you can approach.
Turn right.
I mean, like, yeah, focus on your future, but you can have fun while doing it, right?
Turn right.
I mean, like, the majority of my life has been spent playing video games. I regret none of that. And I still managed to have a decent career, buy a house, find a wife, have kids. Like, it's one thing to, like, you know, rot in a basement somewhere.
So I did some research. Apparently, this used to be owned by a very wealthy local with a habit of misplacing items. It was this habit that led to this poor E-Type being left in a barn after the keys for it were lost.
Your oldest
Instead
is
of trying to
45.
find
Your
the
oldest
keys,
is older
he
than
just
me.
bought another.
That's a neat looking Jaguar. I don't know if it's for us though. Alright. First things first, let's change us. Put on this outfit when we were doing dressing metal. XS t-shirt. I can get like 7 pop collars. See how ridiculous I can look. Alright. Gotta put on my wellies. My pink cowboy hat. Alright. So I got fist pump, air guitar. I mean, this is definitely the dumbest looking one. Did I say buy a wife, or was that my drunk hearing? Maybe. I'm very tired. Also, hello, Julia. Good night. Have fun being drunk and asleep. I do really miss being drunk and asleep. Wait, no, I need that to be the victory. What is going to be the showboat? You can be the showboat. I mean, when I met my wife, it was very, very business. Like, we're kind of on the older side, and so, like, there was no messing around. On our first date, she basically, like, laid out a contract for me. She was like, alright, listen. These are the things I want out of my life. If you are okay with all of these, then we can date. And, you know, it was things like, I want to have kids. This is my religion. I'm going to practice it regularly. You cannot get in the way of my religion. I will never change my religion. We will have exactly this many kids, and we need to have them by this time. And I'm like, all sounds reasonable to me. Everything seems to be in order here. Like, I was down. Like, to the point where she was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. These are exactly the things I want, and you are your own person. I'm not going to try and change who you are. Some of the Ferraris look nice. What is going to be our final car, though? Yes. We've gotten to the invisible section. There they are. I think this was my grandpa's car. Or, sorry, my grandpa's truck. Although I think he had a flatbed with, I don't know what you call them, giant runners. So he could carry like 50 tons. Because he would load that thing up with firewood, and it would be like twice the size of the cab here. Twice the height of it. Like, it's a miracle that vehicle managed to do the thing. Is this? This looks like a hearse. Can I drive a hearse? Because I feel like that one's kind of missing. Hot Wheels. No, I'm good. Concept Infinity. Some Jaguars. Do I have a favorite Jaguar? Not really. All the James Bonds, the Jeeps. Kia Stinger. Maybe. It's an Australian van big in the 70s. I've already forgotten what I was talking about. The Moira. That one was looking almost a little Cybertrucky. We get a Lotus? Not feeling the Mazdas. Might do a Mercedes. I think I've been through all the songs, or all the cars so much that nothing really stands out to me anymore. An Oldsmobile. My grandma drove one of those. The Trident. Maybe. Do like the Trans Am a little bit. The Firebird. We've almost gone through everything. No, we haven't. We're only in the S's. I say that every time. I'm like, this has got to be it. The Cigars. Maybe. Oh, you thought it was a hearse. Yeah, the thing that looked like looked hearse-like. Technically a van. I mean, this is kind of fun. But now we're gonna buy a nice car.